Thank you for coming by. This is an American Project. Please be sure to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. We're going to take a look at the video interview of Mr. Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, as he was interviewed by Tucker Carlson. Let's see what he's got to say. We're going to take a look at his relationship to the USA right after 1991 and what the position of his government is. So we'll start there.
After 1991, when Russia expected that it would be welcomed into the brotherly family of civilized nations, nothing like this happened. You tricked us. I don't mean you personally when I say you. Of course, I'm talking about the United States.
Okay, as we can see, he expected to be part of the capitalist network with the West and was hoping the West would welcome them in with open arms. But that didn't happen. The reason for it not happening is because the West has changed, just like they changed. They had a fundamental change in their government, and the West had a fundamental change in theirs. Sort of like a flip-flop, if you will.
The promise was that NATO would not expand eastward, but it happened 5 times. There were 5 waves of expansion. We tolerated all that. We were trying to persuade them. We were saying, please don't. We are as bourgeois now as you are. We are market economy and there is no communist party power. Let's negotiate.
Okay, here he has told us that he is capitalist. They're no longer communist, and they were hoping to do some business with the United States and wanted to join the neighborhood. And he also explains that NATO kept expanding. In fact, they did it 5 times, and they kept inching closer and closer to Russia. And they wanted Ukraine to join NATO, and were encroaching upon Russia. They just kept pushing and pushing. And that's important for what's going to come a little bit later here, so keep that in mind.
Moreover, I have also said this publicly before. There was a moment when a certain rift started growing between us. Before that, Yeltsin came to the United States. Remember, he spoke in Congress and said the good words, God bless America. Everything he said were signals. Let us in. Yeltsin was immediately dragged through the mud, accused of alcoholism, of understanding nothing, of knowing nothing. He understood everything, I assure you.
Okay, so now he refers to those 5 times that he's been encroached on, or his country has, rather, and it started to cause a rift between the United States and Russia because they were becoming nervous. The U.S. was building air bases much too close to them and kept rejecting them, so they didn't want them to be that close. He also mentions Yeltsin here and how he tried to talk to the U.S. and Congress. In fact, he came over there and he was friendly with them, and he tried to say things like God bless America, he mentions, to get in with the United States. But they ended up rejecting him because they had a different plan that they wanted to go with in a nation that was close to Russia, and Russia couldn't take part of it because they didn't want to kill the people that were their neighbors or be part of an idea or a military operation that was just going to cause unnecessary death and suffering.
Well, I became president in 2000. I thought, okay, the Yugoslav issue is over, but we should try to restore relations. Let's reopen the door that Russia had tried to go through. And moreover, I said it publicly, I can reiterate. At a meeting here in the Kremlin with the outgoing President Bill Clinton, right here in the next room, I said to him, I asked him, Bill, do you think if Russia asked to join NATO, do you think it would happen? Suddenly he said, you know, it's interesting. I think so. But in the evening, when we met for dinner, he said, you know, I've talked to my team. No, it's not possible now.
Here in the year 2000, we see that he tries again. Now remember, the U.S. turned to China for relationships in that year and started doing business with them, which was illegal prior to passing some kind of bill or something, and that era. They're not supposed to do business with communists. So they could have done business with Russia legally because they were no longer communists, but instead they chose to go with China. So let's listen what else he has to say.
I will give you another example now concerning Ukraine. The US leadership exerts pressure, and all NATO members obediently vote, even if they do not like something.
Here he gives an example of the power of the United States as an empire and how they are very persuasive with other countries.
The third moment is a very important one. Is the moment when the US missile defense system was created. The beginning. We persuaded for a long time not to do it in the United States. Moreover, after was invited by Bush Jr.'s father, Bush Sr., to visit his place on the ocean, I had a very serious conversation with President Bush and his team. I proposed that the United States, Russia, and Europe jointly create a missile defense system that, we believe, if created unilaterally, threatens our security, despite the fact that the United States officially said that it was being created against missile threats from Iran. That was the justification for the deployment of the missile defense system. I suggested working together, Russia, the United States, and Europe. They said it was very interesting. They asked me, "Are you serious?" I said, "Absolutely." I was told it was very interesting. I said, "Just imagine if we could tackle such a global strategic security challenge together. The world will change. We'll probably have disputes, probably economic and even political ones, but we could drastically change the situation in the world." He says yes, and asks, "Are you serious?" I said, "Of course. We need to think about it," I'm told. I said, "Go ahead, please." In the end, they just told us to get lost. Look, but then we will be forced to take countermeasures. We will create such strike systems that will certainly overcome missile defense systems. And we created hypersonic systems with intercontinental range, and we continue to develop them. We are now ahead of everyone, the United States and the other countries, in terms of the development of hypersonic strike systems, and we are improving them every day.
And here we get to the crux of the issue. We see that they have weapons that are beyond our capability in some areas. In fact, this threat was just made publicly recently that they have the capability to launch them into space and circle the planet and be able to fly out of the sky from way up there at any moment and strike a target without being intercepted. So that's kind of where we're at. I think the biggest problem with this entire deal was just speaking with the man. I think that's the reason why Carlson had so much trouble. He shouldn't even talk to him, because now the public knows that Vladimir Putin is willing to talk, and they don't want to talk. And there you have it. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and have a great day. God bless.